Some of you may be familiar with the threefold heart flame as it was presented by the Ascended Masters for the I Am teachings that were wrought through Lotus and Godfrey Ray King in the late 1930s. That threefold flame is pink, gold, and sapphire blue, and it represents love, wisdom, and power. It looks something like a fleur-de-lis with pink over the left side of the heart, blue on the right side, and gold in the middle. In the early morning hours of June 11, 1989, the Ascended Master Saint Germain, Godfrey Ray King, and Lady Master Nada all came to visit me to explain why the threefold flame now needed to be expanded to embrace the additional sacred fire energies of violet, opalescent, and diamond. When I say that these masters came to visit me, I mean that they appeared in their radiant light bodies, that I felt their vibrations, that I sensed who they were through their communication, and that I was given to understand that they had come to give me lessons that I would later share with the world. However, I have now waited for 5 years to make sure that this information really needed to go out into the world. I did not want to be responsible for confusing people who were already embracing and utilizing the threefold heart flame, and I deeply questioned changing something that had been so sacred to so many for so long. I am finally convinced, however, that there are good reasons for expanding the existing heart flame, and that these new sacred fire energies were actually already in the heart, but were not to be consciously activated until this cycle of our evolution. The beloved Ascended Masters tell me that the fivefold heart flame may also be called the ascension flame, as it is bringing all of one's bodies into alignment with the greater self, which is already in an ascended state of God consciousness. When I say one's bodies, I mean the emotional body, the physical body, the mental body, the etheric body, and all the other light bodies that make up our various levels or dimensional selves, all the way up to the great central sun. Each body becomes less dense as it spreads out from the core of our being. By adding the new energies to the threefold flame, one's ability to move into the ascension spiral with the physical body will greatly increase. As we enter into this next cycle of our evolution, we need to embrace the whole of the self in order to release and lift the lower emotional, mental, and physical bodies from their years of patterning. When Godfrey Ray King first communicated with me, and he has only done so on 2 other occasions, he said, "I want you to know that I do not support the dogma of any religion, including the I Am movement, which was also a religion." Since Godfrey was originally Guy Ballard, and since he was the founder of the I Am movement, I was tremendously startled. When a master speaks, the whole body instantly receives the communication. I began shaking and releasing cellular memories that I had carried through eons of time that were still confining me to certain religious belief structures. When Godfrey appeared again the next morning with Saint Germain and Lady Nada, they proceeded to inform me that all religions are actually experiments that are usually brought to this planet by master beings in an attempt to give people a path to more and closer reunion with God. Indeed, the religions that build up around these masters do bring incarnate servers closer to God. Eventually, however, the structure and dogma of even some of the world's greatest religions instill so much guilt, judgment, and fear that people go into tremendous denial. They put themselves off from living as real human beings, and they forget how to access the powers that lie dormant at both ends of their life spectrum. Denial keeps them from connecting with both their deepest and their highest or most transcendent feelings. The feeling or feminine nature cradles the seed that we need for birthing ourselves into the 5th dimension. We need all of our electromagnetic circuitry in good working order to have enough power, enough love, and enough wisdom to accomplish this part of our physical ascension. To merge with this first level of the Christ self, we need to reach down and resurrect the human entity that is being recalled into a higher and purer state of union with God. By this I mean that we need to reach down and embrace all that we have brought with us through eons of time, so that that self and those cells which have accumulated the memories of that self can all be brought into the ascension. Now, why do we want to do this, you might ask? And my answer would be because we seek to experience more love, because we are starving to access true wisdom, and because we are encoded to realize ourselves as children of God who have come to activate the original divine blueprint for manifesting God's kingdom on earth. We are now on the in-breath of God, and it is every soul's agreement to ascend, since it is cosmic law that a creation always returns to its creator. We are also here to call home our own human creations. And as the light gets lighter, the dark forces are also getting stronger. They are playing out their role in our lives, that of polarizing the light. When we move into the fifth dimension, that play will no longer be necessary. It is a time for us to be exceedingly strong. That is another reason for expanding the heart flame. This new flame is not spread out in a horizontal configuration like a fleur-de-lis or the original threefold flame. It is beyond all duality, and its fivefold action is therefore vertically aligned, bringing it into perfect resonation with the ascension spiral that was created for us by the Christ when he resurrected and ascended and left us with this pathway home. This fivefold flame begins at the core of one's heart with a sacred ray of pink, which denotes one's foundation in pure love. It then expands outward, upward, and downward with a sacred ray of violet. This flame of transmutation, forgiveness, and freedom is always edged by the sacred fire energies of sapphire blue, which catch one free from everything that is not in accordance with one's divine blueprint. The next layer of the flame emanates the sacred ray of gold, representing the wisdom ray that is earned and ignited through mastering the balance of love and power. When pure gold emanates from this flame into one's auric field, it also denotes the perfect balance between the inner male and the inner female, or the Christ self in action. The gold flame may be edged with ruby, showing one's devotion to physical plane service and manifestation. The next layer of the flame is created by the sacred ray of opalescent, reflecting the pure embrace of the Divine Mother as she calls us into the transformation that will lead us eventually into the full resurrection and ascension of our lower bodies. As we allow this sacred opalescent flame to consume all of the limiting aspects of our third dimensional consciousness, it brings us into perfect alignment with the united, unlimited, ascended Christ self in its emanating diamond flame substance. This last layer of the heart flame sustains the 13th or diamond ray of the ascension frequencies that will always keep us aligned with the great central sun throughout the remainder of our sojourn on earth. The diamond ray represents the ascended Christ self as a central sun emissary. It could be said that the opalescent and the diamond rays are the Father, Mother, God energies of love and light that make up our beloved I Am presence that gives birth to the Christ or the Sun within. Each of these flames is also called a light body because each one vibrates within the aura of your life stream at a different frequency, and therefore each one holds the perfection of a layer of your being. If you put different liquids into a bottle that were of various densities, they would all be attracted to a different layer in the bottle. The pink flame at your heart's core represents your foundation in love. It is your planetary expression of the self. The violet or the blue-violet layer of the self represents the etheric, or divine blueprint body. This is the one in which Krishna was so often pictured, because it is this dimensional aspect of the self that can most often be seen by the physical eye. This light body connects one with the planetary logos, who are the perfected beings holding the immaculate concept for the earth and her evolving inhabitants. This logos is overseen by the Lord of the world. The next layer is the solar or the Buddhic Christ expression of the self. This light body is aligned with the solar logos, represented by those beings known as Helios and Vesta. The opalescent and diamond light bodies are aligned with the frequencies of the great central sun logos, who are represented by two beings known to us as Alpha and Omega. Now that I have finally agreed to submit this information, I am willing to embrace how vital this fivefold heart flame can be in reconnecting one with the whole of the self, so that the I Am Presence has a direct means for preparing the lower bodies for their ascension. The auric field must be purified to allow the Presence to descend. We cannot ascend until we descend into our hearts enough to resurrect what we have created. This is a cycle of purification for all of humankind. The lower stratospheres around our bodies and our world are known as the astral. We all created it, and we all are here to clean it up so that the ascension frequencies can literally lift us into a new world or dimension of consciousness. We are pioneers and explorers of the unknown. We have always been since we left the great central sun, and we begin our next journey by clearing our personal auras and those within our homes and our communities. To do this work, we need to be spiritually empowered, and this is why we are being given the grace to utilize the whole 12-fold aspect of our being, which reestablishes our 12-strand DNA and realigns us with the 12 suns that make up our great central sun system of worlds. This is also why we are being given a more complete understanding of our 12-layered auric field and its relationship to our light bodies and the dimensional realities in which they exist, and in which we indeed exist ourselves. Our great and beloved spiritual overseers want us to know how we can function more consciously as harmonious, multidimensional beings. The exercise given on this tape will also refer to a figure 8 that can be used for cleansing every chakra and for bringing back any fragments of the self that may not be integrated into your present time being. The purpose of this visualization is to recall the gifts or the actual energies that you may have left in other times, with other people, or in other geographic locations, including even other stars and planets. We often leave parts of ourselves in the past or project parts of ourselves into the future because there is fear in the cellular memory that wants to avoid suffering. These memories are left after painful death experiences, after the loss of loved ones, after past abuses given or received. These scars leave tears and holes in the aura that we now need to heal. This auric and cellular healing involves releasing all past and future projections or attachments, whether they are positive or negative. You may have positive ideals which you have projected in the future because you think that they will make you happier than you are in this moment. Often we hold on to loving memories that we want to experience again, and we project these thoughts into future expectations. This is also disempowering. It is denying you the power of the moment that you are living. Suffering comes from attachments, and the human third-dimensional self thrives on the desires and needs of the mind and the emotional nature to revel in both the past and the future. Remember that all form worlds are illusionary, and that includes even the heavenly worlds. They are made up of our projected thoughts, or the thoughts of the masters, and they fulfill our desire to create and our ongoing need to manifest and bring into form the heavenly kingdoms. These figure eights bring you back into the center of your world so that you can take responsibility for your creations. You can make the figure eights as large as you want. They must, however, always be centered in your heart, or in the chakra or area of your body that you are clearing and balancing. Always run these different figure eights in threes, one going from front to back, which picks up all past and future thought projections, one going from left to right, which picks up all male and female images of the self, and one vertically running up and down to connect you with the earth's core and with the great central sun, also to bring back into center all images that you may have projected about yourself as either a human being or a divine being. These aids can be utilized for retrieving any fragments of the self that you may have left anywhere in the universe since the beginning of time. When reconnected with the great central sun and with Alpha and Omega and Helios and Vesta and Pelura and Virgo, who oversee the eternal sun of even pressure in the earth's core, you are aligned with the power of being fully present as an emissary of love and light, one who has chosen to activate your conscious relationship to your own divine blueprint. As you reconnect with the 12 suns, your major chakras will become suns themselves, making them perfect convex vortices of central sun energy. You are a microcosm of this universal system, and as such, you have the use of 12 dimensional light bodies that make up the fields of light that emanate out from the 12 major chakras that connect you with your 12-strand DNA. The 13th ray is diamond. It is a free field of perfected light, beyond the need for form, for chakras, or for DNA. It can assume any form by choice, the first level of which is the matter, the mother, or the feminine expression of the self as the opalescent ray. The diamond and the opalescent light bodies make up the perfectly balanced androgynous love-light substance of your I Am presence. With this additional understanding, let us now proceed to do a clearing and a reconnecting with the center of the true self, beginning at the heart.